Hello everyone, today is time to check another song, and this time around we're back to the A3 franchise to check Utsuki Chikage's Seeds. So this is a song performed by Wataru Hatano. This is from the Spring Troop. I'm fairly certain it is from the Spring Troop. And this is a suggestion by Ali. These, once again, like I said in the previous analysis of Kumo Yodo's song, I have not checked anything from the A3 franchise in a couple of years, and Chikage is also a new character, so I do not know what to expect there. So, given that it is Wataru Hatano, maybe a ballad, is really good performing those, but who knows? I do not know what to expect from this song, so let's check. Mm.
本当のことを言うと嘘みたいに聞こえるから黙ってる真偽不明
Okay, we have. It's almost like the instrumental is broken. You have it playing, but some parts it skips the tone and goes to the next note. It's really as if someone chopped the instrumental on purpose, or if, well, someone did that on purpose to make this sound like it is not. But still, it sounds like it is a recalling of something. It has a certain nostalgia in that piano melody, and the way it has a lo-fi touch from the. It sounds as if you are playing a vinyl. It has that noise that comes from playing a vinyl. Let's see what develops from here.
の言葉並べながら君のことを思ってる伝えたいこと伝えたくないことあえて伝えないこときっと伝えてもしょうがないこと張り付いた
Ooh, I do love that progression on the vocals. I do love Wataru Hatano a whole lot. And he always surprises me when he comes with these kinds of progressions on the vocals. Of course, he didn't come up with these. He was told to perform the song like this, but he's going really fast on this within that part. And then you change the key. That's something I do love to find in pop music, for example, and something I do love to find Wataru Hatano doing because his voice is like honey. It really flows through those notes in a way that is so gentle. It really leaves a gentle touch from in every song he performs, and this song so far is no exception. So I do like that progression on the vocals. I do love the way he tackled that progression. His vocals, of course, can achieve anything in that progression. And I do like the piano melody so far.
笑みの奥で発芽する決意と秘密忘れたいこと忘れられないこと
This is a minimalistic dance tune. It's minimalistic electronica at its core. It does sound like it is going to build up to something quite possibly a bit more intense, but after all the songs that I've analyzed so far, I will not make any bets. Because it can go really slow, like Anthel's Stay Away did go, so you have that. Or it can go really loud and intense, like Setsudan Club. So I do not know what to expect here, but so far it's sounding like a loungy song, really elegant and mature so far. It's really a good display of how you can make a good song with simple elements. You don't need really to be flashy to make a song really connect with someone. So far I do have these impressions. These may change a bit in a couple of minutes. I do not know.
と忘れないこと忘れられないから願うこと 傷口を見つめ考えていた種も仕掛けも魔法君のための芝居のショー好みじゃない甘い関係さえも日々のスパイスに変わるよ手品の種を明かそうか一緒に世界を騙そうか普通じゃないいびつな仲間だ
This song took an interesting turn, and it is much brighter than I was expecting. So there's that as well. It's not really my thing in terms of instrumental, especially from the way the chorus is flowing and how bright it is. I do not know why, but I've never been a big fan of bright songs. And this gets really bright in the chorus. It's of course a good display of technique from Wataru Hatano performing a song like this. It really raises a bit the tone to match the song. The song is almost like it was really contained in the verses and then the emotions overflow in the chorus. So it's interesting to find that what is going on in the lyrics is developing in that way when you get to the chorus. The piano once again is really interesting and it takes the forefront in the song. But so far, what I'm finding most interesting or more appealing to me is actually the vocals, more so than the instrumental itself. Although I do love the instrumental in the verses, but the chorus is not clicking with me so far.
だけど大切な家族に変わるよ She's Whoa, 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 she's Yeah, 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 she's Whoa, 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 she's
Head voice in there, and that beautiful melody on the piano going on your right here is really loungy. That's the sound that I was enjoying in the verses. That's really loungy, it's mature. It's almost, now that I am analyzing this song, is almost as it is as we're analyzing someone that has a double face. So one image to certain people and another image to other people, and the verses and chorus contrast in that way. I may be wrong in my assessment, and I really don't know anything about Chikage's story, so I can't really say anything beyond what I've just said. But so far it seems like maybe he's two-faced, and the verses are the mature vibe and the mature cool vibe, and the chorus is that upbeat, perky, and almost cheerful twist that no one was expecting from the verses.
Oh, she's
Okay. That's interesting what they wanted to do there with the vocals. That's vocals manipulation going on in there. Almost like the vocals are being cross-faded and cut in a million pieces to match the riveting beat that is going on, especially to match the triplets in the beat.
真昼の太陽と深夜の月こっそりすり替わってる復讐の翼畳みながら君のことを思ってる分かりたいこと分かりたくないことずっと分からないこといつか分からなくちゃいけないこと賛成の古街でひょうひょうと根を
Those glitchy synths that go from your right to your left ear and back and forth, basically. Those go fast, and it's almost like you're seeing something really go by through you at the fast speed, or you're recalling something and that memory is broken. It can symbolize so many things, and context would help me to actually come up with a better explanation, but so far that's the impression I get from this song. Two-faced and going through memories of something.
ある夢思い出すこと思い出せないこと思い出になること思い出せないから迷うこと、居場所を探してやっと見つけた。
Oh, that's a really interesting development, looking for a place that is now found. So this song is actually pretty happy, or has a happy ending, which is pretty unexpected coming from this instrumental.
種や仕掛けがバレてもネイキッドゆえに光る希望台本にない即興の不幸さえもうまく乗り越えてみせるよ。フィクションでも種をまこうかノンフィクションの花咲かそうかマイナスから始まる。
Okay, I do have a new assessment of this song. There's a certain two-face element in here, but the first part, let's analyze it like that. The verses are before he found his home, and the chorus is after he found his home. He now has joy, hope, he looks forward to working in fiction and non-fiction works. He does have a passion for what he's doing, whereas in the verses it sounds almost like every single day was gray. There was no difference in what he was doing, there was no excitement, there was no color. That's now my final assessment, unless the song goes crazy in the last couple of minutes.
縁だけど今は愛しく思えるよ。
Nice piano solo. Ooh.
種も仕掛けもある魔法君のための芝居のショー好みじゃない甘い関係さ。
I am actually feeling this chorus after listening to it twice, and now after knowing a bit more the story. So I can feel why the chorus is this happy-go-lucky and this bright. It's almost like there is a smile plastered on the face of the character, whereas the verses did not, which goes to say that I usually like dark music from people depressed. That's weird. Well, this is a really interesting song, and so far I am liking what I'm listening to. The chorus has grown on me.
君のスパイスに変わるよ手品の種を明かそうか一緒に世界を騙そうか普通じゃないいびつな仲間だけどみんなを絶対に守るよ。
There you have it. He will protect everyone, for sure. So now that he's found a place that he can call home, he will protect everyone as if his life depended on it, which is a nice sentiment, and glad that he actually found that. I heard some stories about this character early on when he joined the A3 franchise that weren't really positive. So it's good to see that there was a turnaround for the character, and that they have found a home and can now be bright and straightforward with others, whereas before they were that cool, don't get too close to me type, almost like they were fooling others intentionally to not get too close or get to know who they actually are. So that's really interesting, the development that you get from the instrumental alone. The vocals, it's a really high quality performance by Wataru Hatano, and the lyrics are really interesting. That's my first time listening to these lyrics, and I may have missed something in those because I'm not fluent in Japanese. My understanding is really actually is good, but not fluent level, so I may have missed something in the lyrics, but so far the story that I got is a story of a turnaround in a character to actually find something that they love and dedicating themselves to that, and do so with a smile on their face and really proud of what they do and who they are and with whom they are doing everything.
She's, whoa, 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 she's, yeah, 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 she's, whoa, 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 whoa,
Oh.
she's, oh, she's, whoa, 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 she's, yeah, 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 she's,
Ah,
whoa, 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 she's, oh, she's.
Wataru Hatano is problematic for me because I do love his singing tone. His technique is second to none. He may not stand out as much as other singers, but his technique is second to none, and he's really, really talented as a singer, and even as a songwriter. So you have that sense, that musicality, that sense of rhythm, that creative edge that other seiyuu may not have. And you notice when seiyuu that have that experience creating or playing music, when they sing, they do have a completely different vibe from those seiyuu that do not have that experience. So that's an extra bit of oomph in their performance that I love to find. Wataru Hatano is a fantastic performer. He does have a really good voice, really mellow, low voice. He's not necessarily a bass singer, he's a baritone, a really robust baritone with a bit of a bass range, but he's usually a really smooth baritone. And I do love the way he tackles some melodies, the way he goes for those high notes, the way he adds really breathy endings to some parts, or goes for that head voice in some parts. So he does impress a whole lot, time and time again. Once again, he's really underrated as a singer, something that I do not understand why, because he's really good. Technical singer, extremely reliable. Whichever group he joins, he usually gives his all. So it's really interesting to find. Pity that not many people actually find him interesting. I don't know. I really don't know why people. While there are people that actually follow his music, not many people internationally do so. So that's really odd for me. Once again, people may only like to listen to certain songs because of the projects, not because of the seiyuu, so there's that as well. It may be a reason why some people actually don't listen to music by him. I do not know. Still, he's a fantastic singer. His performance in Seeds is really good. I do love the loungy vibe in the verses, but then again, the verses are really dark. And I do like dark stuff. You can add the tag emo kid below me, because honestly, I do like my fair share of emo music, and it was sounding like that in the verses. And I did like that certain nostalgia going on in there, not necessarily full-on nostalgia, but there was something in there. But the emotions were really contained in that section. You actually get to see the full range of emotions in the chorus. That's when things get brighter, that's when that voice gains color. So that's an interesting twist going on. It's tied to the lyrics, it's tied to the character's story. It's hopeful, it is fun. The chorus grew on me. I didn't like it at first, but the second repetition, it was already okay for me, and the third, I was already vibing to it. So that's a good sign. If the chorus was really bad, I would stay with the same opinion when the song would end. So that's really good in that point. So positive points in that song, there are plenty of them. I did not find anything that was not really to my liking, besides the fact that initially the instrumental was a bit too preppier for my style. Once again, that's for my style, and it doesn't necessarily mean that the song is bad. It's just that the song didn't click with me. The story wasn't clicking once again because I do not follow A3 since the new members joined, so I am at a loss what is happening there, or what are the new developments, or even the songs. I haven't checked any since then. So, but still, the song ended up being pretty straightforward, and I got to understand the story, at least on the surface. I do not know the details, and I hope I am not wrong in my assessment. Oh my god, if I am wrong, this is going to be a pretty interesting episode. But then again, good performance, awesome song. I will be listening to these again, for sure, again. This is Wataru Hatano. I really love his singing, so there's that. And I do like the tone of the song. It fits really well when you want to relax a bit. It is loungy in good measures, and it is bright in the right amount. So I wouldn't say this is a song that will put off people that do not like pop. Initially, it was a bit hard to click with it, but you get to click with that a little bit later on. I hope you guys at least found this song interesting. If you already loved this song, that at least my interpretation is not that far off. Either way, I'd love to know what is going on with Chikage, unless it is a big spoiler. Still, I am not following the A3 franchise, so you can spoil away for me. Thank you very much for checking this video, and I'll see you guys soon.